wrap it up. So I will quickly do an introduction about myself, and then I give some words about our partnership, and then I will let the guests introduce themselves, and then we can start. So my name is Vasily. I'm CEO of AMLBot, which is a crypto compliance provider. And today we have a great partnership with EQIBank, and we are actually trying to leverage the technologies from both traditional banking space and from the crypto space, and try to unite those two beasts together. It is actually a first partnership of this kind for AMLBot, so we are very excited. And in order to celebrate this, we will actually be offering the free personal bank accounts to the AMLBot clients with EQIBank. And on its turn, the clients of EQIBank will be able to check their cryptocurrency transactions, their crypto assets for the AML compliance using AMLBot system. And in general, we hope for the duration of this partnership, we will share our knowledge and expertise, us as being crypto compliance experts, and EQIBank also having some knowledge from the traditional space. So let's jump right into. So why wouldn't you guys introduce yourself? And then we will start with the topics that we have prepared for today. Slava, you can start.
Thank you. My name is Slava. I am CEO of AMLBot, which is Vasily already told, crypto compliance provider. I've been into the space since 2019, and since then we, with our team, developed and launched a few products related to compliance. Those products either within AMLBot brand or outside the AMLBot brand, but they all about compliance, about analytics, about anti-money laundering solution, and overall protection of honest marketplace players in the crypto space. Yeah, I can pass mic to Eli.
Thanks, Slava. My name is Eli. I'm Executive Director of EQITrade, which is the parent company of EQIBank. We've been in the market since 2015. We received our license in 2018 from the regulator of Dominica. We are a crypto-friendly bank. We handle probably 70% of Dubai's crypto business and more globally. We work with major exchanges. We work with major players in the crypto scene, with Slava and AMLBot especially. We're very happy with this partnership because it allows us to remain fully compliant, offer a very quick and, what's more important, flexible service where our clients have various ways to check the addresses, to scan the wallets, and make sure that everything is safe and secure. So it allows us to do everything a bank should do in terms of scanning the blockchain to make sure everybody is protected.
Great. Thank you both. So now let's jump to the topics. I would put the question, I think, to one of you. The first question is a bit more crypto related, so I'll start with Slava, and then Eli, you of course would be welcome to add your thoughts and just to have an interactive discussion going on. So Slava, why is the union of banks and crypto is crucial in the current landscape and the market conditions?
It's a good question. Despite the very beginning of the development of blockchain, where first adopters using just peer-to-peer transactions, they don't need any bank accounting and so on and so forth. we've seen through the development of the entire sphere, while this industry began growing, it seems like it's crucial to have proper banking, to have proper connection between this digital world, digital asset world, and classical finance, especially for those who are thinking about institutional money, or let's call it big money. They need somehow to, they need some proper entering into the space and will be able to exit from there. Or like, as for me, I see a classical banking as a proper interface, user interface, I would say, for finance, for people with money to enter not really familiar world for them. The way how blockchain works, the way how crypto transactions work are a little bit different, and the rules are different, and banks, either classical or neobanks, are the only gateway for them. So I guess the more similar connections we have, the proper seamless integration with classical banks we have, it's better for the entire crypto industry. I would answer like that. Thank you. Maybe I have thoughts on that.
Feel free to
No,
answer.
I share that sentiment to some degree. I think actually I like to call, we have crypto-friendly banks, and I like to call EQIBank a fiat-friendly crypto bank, because
Good definition.
yeah, just because of our understanding and our deep penetration in the industry, how well versed the team is, first of all, in compliance, and being fully versed with what's happening right now in the crypto landscape and the regulatory landscape in general. Having said that, crypto needs banks a lot more than banks need crypto. Banks are okay. Let's be honest. For the most part, banks are fine. They fail here and there because of mismanagement here and there again, but the reserve bank system is sound. It's fine. It works if managed properly. And we are the bank that is probably one of the most safest banks in the world, because we're not a lender. We're purely transactional. We just happen to know how to work with crypto really, really well, because a lot of us have had exposure to crypto probably since its inception. I think for a crypto client, having a bank on board is really important, with the right partners, of course, such as AMLBot, because it provides the safety and security, and basically, you can sleep well at night knowing that you're trading with a bank that's regulated, audited, and protects your interests, your partner's interests, and to many extents, the market itself.
Great. And I would just add, I think it's great that you guys provide both private and business banking, because as you said, crypto needs banks more than banks needs crypto. And sometimes it's very challenging, not only for the companies, but also for the individuals to find this link between crypto and the fiat, because let's face it, now people still use fiat more for the payments, and having this link is very important, even especially having great options as you guys, since after what was happening in the US with major crypto-friendly banks losing their business or collapsing. So
I would, you know what? I would draw a line between crypto tolerant and crypto friendly, because most of those banks they were crypto.
You didn't have such a good definitions for every for every aspect.
They were largely crypto tolerant. They were generally not okay with some large exceptions, which is, I think, the reason why it in many ways went south. Because tolerance and friendliness are entirely different things. Friendliness means openness and the desire to understand. As U.S. regulators have remarked yesterday, namely FDIC, they said that Silvergate had a very poor understanding of its exposure to crypto, and I agree with that. I think there is some desire there to get the business, but probably less so to understand it. And I think that's where the future is for everybody. Banks that embrace innovation, banks that protect their customers, and banks that act as protectors of the realm, so protectors of the industry.
And I would add on individuals being in Europe, I've seen a huge difference with even with Ukraine or, for example, Turkey, where every taxi driver have their Binance account or has some wallet. They trade, they keep currency. Where in Europe, in the majority, I don't know why, maybe it's just because of my surrounding here, the majority of users just use classical banks and just hear about crypto. They heard about Lambda, they heard about tokens, NFT, and that's all their knowledge on that regard. They don't have neither Binance account or any non-custodial wallet or even any tokens or Bitcoins.
You know what? I was over Christmas, I was in a train in Switzerland, and I was speaking, or I think I was recording a message to a member of our OTC team, and I said USDT, and no one paid attention to me or my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend at the time, already rather, until I said USDT. And at that point, there were about 50 people in that train, 25 of them turned. And when I said OTC, somebody walked up and said, do you offer OTC? And I got a client that way. So I think, you know, it in Europe, a lot more people have it than we think. They just keep it under the mat.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Thank you, guys. So you mentioned Europe, and we know that now Micah or Mika, everyone calls it differently, and I don't know what is the right way to say it, because even British people sometimes call it Mika. So I like to call it Mika. With Mika being enforced and probably coming next year, I think there will be some grace period, but anyway, we can safely assume that from the next year, there will be this regulatory framework, arguably first of its kind to be as comprehensive and covering as many countries. There is a general hope for the crypto businesses, especially that start their own token, that if they pass through Mika and get all of the licenses and things, that the banks would be more open to accept them as a client, because they would have to go through pretty comprehensive process of obtaining a license. So the regulator set up this framework. But in terms of the banks, so this is a question to Ellie. How can banks actually provide a secure and regulated environment for crypto transactions themselves?
I think it's a very simple and obvious answer here. It's having a world-class compliance team and world-class tools to help that team, of which AMLBot obviously is. I mean, I think what you guys provide is a phenomenal service. You know, we look through your data sources, through your data streams, and we were truly impressed how transparent, how honest, and how well you guys are built in that sense. And it's very important to have a reliable partner on your side when you're protecting your customers and being fully compliant with global regulations.
Thank you.
Slava, do you have anything to add to this?
I guess no, because it's rather a question to banks.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into the next topic. Then let's start with Slava. So as you see it, since you've been in crypto for a very long time, what potential impact can banks accepting cryptocurrencies have on the overall crypto market?
I would rather expand to my previous thoughts. I believe that with the help of banks, the penetration of the crypto will increase among the average people, and especially I believe investors, whales, if you want to call them, also will be eligible to invest in crypto, to try different instruments, to try different tools, to maybe to trade, maybe to invest, to long, to short some assets, and they will help to diversify the whole industry, because right now all the assets really pegged to the Bitcoin. Whatever whatever happens with Bitcoin, the rest of the assets feel those waves. And the more people coming into the space, the more diversified this space gonna be. Yeah, I would assume like this.
I think the most important role a bank would play is that of a system, because I think it's only been probably a year or two since people have stopped calling crypto the Wild West, but it still needs a system. And banks, for better or worse, whatever you may think of banks, are that system. They have compliance systems, they have transaction systems, they have customer service systems, and they have regulatory systems they're connected to and involved with. So in that sense, the system, the way a bank approaches crypto will definitely help the market organize itself, because until it's organized, it's not secure.
Yeah, and I would also add, the more crypto-friendly or crypto-tolerant banks we have on the market, the more easy it will be for me to buy something in a normal shop. Just I can't right now use USDT or Bitcoin to pay for pizza or for my coffee. I need to convert it, and the more banks, the more easier it will this process gonna happen. And again, it's about mass adoption at some extent.
Well, I would slightly disagree with Slava, because you can actually use Binance or crypto.com. I think mostly Binance, or there is also like this provider Virex, where you can actually top up your account with cryptocurrency, and at the moment of payment, it's automatically converted to the currency you're paying in. But
Yeah,
there is
it's happened with the help of the banks, right? That's what happened.
Yes, it's happening with the help of the payment provider of the bank, but there is still a huge kind of risk, because Binance is not a regulated bank, right? And at some point, something can happen. Hopefully it will not happen, but something can happen. And you either, like, at best, you will just lose this payment method where you will be able to pay with cryptocurrency, and at worst, you will even lose your assets, because let's face it, some of the exchanges are not very transparent on how many assets they hold, if they back it or not. So my thinking that if the banks will step in and having and applying basically the same regulations and the same system as they do with the traditional currencies, there will be more trust in the system where people will not fear of losing their cryptocurrency, for example.
Yeah, and I just come up with question to Eli. Why banks do not open like kind of Binance or kind of exchange, or maybe or application like that popular as Coinbase, as Binance? Why banks do not do this? It's not their business, it's not their concern, or maybe it's not interesting for them.
I think for the same reason I probably don't cook, I'd kill someone. It's just to do with the fact that everybody is good at something. The large exchanges, such as Binance, such as you know, the top ones out there, they're very, very good at what they do. Banks, EQIBank, are very, very good at what we do, and it's these talented parties coming together to create something better for their customers. I think it's a really good question.
I mean, any regulatory obstacles on that way?
It really depends on the regulatory landscape and where it is, but I'm not discounting the fact that banks may become exchanges, or that EQIBank may at some point choose to do a joint venture with an exchange, or EQIBank might become an interesting target for an exchange, or any other bank for that matter. We don't know where innovation will take us, but I think, initially, to answer your question, at this point, I think everyone's trying to just organize themselves in their own particular field to accept this new stage of innovation and do it the best they can. And then we're going to see mergers here and there, not discounting that at all.
No.
Or business models joining to benefit each other.
Yeah. And also, I think to be kind of more realistic here, in the sense if the bank will accept the cryptocurrencies, I think if they will do that, they will not accept like any cryptocurrency. They will most likely will start with Bitcoin and then maybe move to the top 3 to 4 cryptocurrencies. And what is actually interesting, I don't know if you guys have read the latest Tether report. There's a lot of Tether FUD. No one knows how secure Tether is, and everyone thinks that they're shady, but the truth is they've been operational for all of these years. And actually in the report, and they say that they have 2% of their reserves being in Bitcoin. And I think this is huge because Tether has like a billion, I think it was like 80 billion, but maybe now it's a bit less capitalization. And being a stable coin, they already allocating some of their reserves to Bitcoin. And we also seen El Salvador accepting the cryptocurrency, accepting Bitcoin as a legal tender, and also allocating, basically buying Bitcoin for its treasury. And it's just an observation. So I see like maybe the first step of the banks is not actually accepting the cryptocurrency per se, but keeping the cryptocurrency in the reserves, either as an investment or like they keep gold, for example. So do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, crypto is an asset. It's a digital asset. It's what it's called. It's in the very definition of it. What various institutions, government and private, choose to do with it is up to them. But I agree, it's great to see El Salvador. And by the way, it's very interesting that in spite of the fact that it was estimated it would be a complete failure, it actually turned out to be a great success.
Yeah.
What was estimated as a big failure? San Salvador case?
Yeah, their investment in Bitcoin, I believe. Yeah, but it's interesting that it's actually turned out to be a success. So I think, you know, it's inevitable. Look, the planet undergoes evolution. We evolve, technology evolves. So does money, and it's fine. It's just a matter of organizing it, keeping it compliant, making sure, even if it does take a new form, that it's safe as a medium. So
Yeah. Yeah, and it's I think it's also great to see that the countries that are somewhat excluded from the monetary system coming up with the new alternative ways, like cryptocurrencies booming in Africa. El Salvador accepted it, and actually those developing countries are expected to be the first to kind of to adopt the cryptocurrency, not only on the private banking level, but on the governmental level.
Yeah,
Okay, and
we
yeah,
can
go
even
ahead.
see it from the perspective of our clients, that there are a lot of from some countries from the Africa where the banking system is not well developed. So the Bitcoin blockchain are kind of pushing the banking system. They need to embrace all these clients and to cooperate with them somehow.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is that in more aspects, like we might consider some countries underdeveloped, but some of them have way more knowledge in the field of the cryptocurrencies than maybe like an average European. So they may have this leverage to develop technologically and to gain from that as well. So I see only benefits from it. All right, so let's move to actually our final topic, I think, after which we can see if there are any comments from the users. So what emerging trends and developments in the banking and crypto industries do you guys see? I will just note one thing, maybe from my side. French bank, I think it was Société Générale, they attempted to launch like their own stablecoin, and it was really not accepted well because how they structured the code, and they made many things visible on the blockchain, like they can take all of your balance and things like that. So maybe they kind of failed in that, but I wonder what other trends do you guys see? So whoever wants to start.
I'll start because probably Eli have a lot of more insights. What I recently mentioned, that there are a lot of banks, exactly like you said, developing their own CBDC. It's not exactly crypto, but it's really close to it, and it's built on top of blockchain, the basic technology for the crypto. And they are trying different approaches, different frameworks. I didn't hear any successful case. Maybe there are. I just didn't hear about them. And they are not that quickly. But there are a lot of cases, and we even consulted a few of such banks. Another trend, it's probably the trend of this year, all right, maybe the half of the previous year. The previous year and the current year, a lot of banks started to receive crypto, and they wanted to also integrate different kind of blockchain analytics solutions. Even those banks that did not accept crypto right now, they're thinking about it, they're building the framework, they're building technology, and it seems like some big shift is gonna happen maybe in a year or something. I mean, integration banking system into the blockchain, the more and more banks, especially in Europe. I'm talking about Europe right now.
I think
Thank you, Slava.
one of the biggest opportunities for banks in crypto is the metaverse. Because yeah, and we're actually working on a few things there. I think because of what the metaverse represents, and it is a world where anything is possible if you apply the right tech. When you put AI in there, in particular, the only thing it's missing is banking. And that's why JP Morgan was one of the first, for example. We were there before, but JP Morgan also opened a lounge in one of the metaverses. I don't remember which one, but
oh really?
Yeah, banks are starting to go there, and I think one of the key things that's going to be missing there is actually compliance. AML checks, KYC checks, identity verification, because that is a main aspect of the metaverse that will either make or break it, and it will make it because somebody will build it. I'm sure your developers have already planned to do it. You're just pretending to be surprised. But yeah, I think it's huge. It really is going to be really big, because payments in the metaverse are literally a limitless market. It's got no limits. So I think that is the biggest opportunity in banking. In terms of implementation of blockchain in banking, I think we'll see a lot of solutions sprouting up that involve not necessarily crypto, but blockchain in particular for the obvious features that we have.
Exactly. Talking about identity and building identity within metaverse, you are quite right. We are working on it within our PureFi project. But I was wondering, what exactly do you mean when you say banking is something that's missing in metaverses? Can you a little bit delve into this topic?
Yeah. Again, when you want to buy a quality product, you're probably much more likely to choose a provider that's heavily regulated, that is part of a larger system, and that knows how to keep your money safe. So if you were to store your money in the metaverse, you wouldn't keep it for 30, 60 days with a processor. You probably wouldn't even trust it to a standalone processor, but you would trust it to a processor from a bank or connected to a bank. Or, for example, if you are buying land in the metaverse, we all know that there are certain escrow procedures that might take place.
I'm just wondering. It sounds really interesting. People build blockchain as alternative finance. On top of blockchain, they build alternative metaverses, and within this metaverses, on top of alternative finance system, you propose to build classical banking system, right?
I'm not saying it's classical and not. It's just a system, because everything needs to be systemized.
I mean, it's funny.
Yeah, and you're much more likely to trust even your crypto to a regulated bank in the metaverse. The more, put it this way, everything needs to have a balance. The more invisibility there is, and the more everything is virtual, the more you need something regulated and stable to counteract it. Otherwise, it's just a mess. So this is where a bank comes in because it counterbalances the potential chaos that can take place without regulated players in there.
Yeah, sounds a little bit fantastic. I know.
So did the metaverse though 2 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I never thought about such a thing. Interesting insight.
Thank you.
Interesting, yeah. So let's move from some to some user questions. What measures can banks implement to ensure compliance and protect customers from illicit activities in the crypto market? I think we already covered that. It's mostly AML compliance, KYC compliance,
that is what
and having
this think about. That's why.
Yeah.
I think it's Slava's secret recipe. I don't think you want to disclose what you guys do, obviously, because you're compliance related, but yeah, it's obviously, of course, doing the right checks, making sure everything is done properly and systematically, and making sure you're using the right sources to screen and check.
And one question also came to my mind. So I also heard that I think JP Morgan, they developed their own blockchain for their interbanking settlements. Have you thought about something like that for your bank or in general? Because there is also I think it's connected to the question when we talk not about only the interbanking system, but the CBDCs. Will they be developed on some private version of Ethereum, or will they develop their own blockchain? So what are your thoughts on that?
You know, there's a stock trader called Jim Cramer.
Inverse Kramer now.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever that guy says, you do the opposite.
Yes.
So I love JP Morgan's approach. They just Kramered it. They say one thing and do another. So if they publicly announced that they're ditching blockchain, this is exactly what you need to drop everything and do. And I think that because they have never really publicly even announced, I mean, I know what you're talking about. I've read about it, but there's very little info about this on the internet. And I think it's very, very interesting that they have it. And they're a great institution. And I think, their approach to innovation and what they're doing is absolutely correct. They keep their cards pretty close to their chest. I wouldn't be able to comment on it, but I think from what I know, it's definitely going in the right direction.
Great, thank you. So I know we already spoke about that a little bit, but maybe something that we've not mentioned, like what are some challenges that banks face when embracing crypto? As you said, either being crypto tolerant or crypto friendly, or like crypto bank. So what are the main challenges that you see?
The main challenge that I faced over the past year is crypto depegging. When USDC depegged from the dollar, I think that for me was honestly, there are moments in your life you're always going to remember, and for me that morning was one of them.
But it's a major problem. If you're talking about banks, there are not that many banks crypto friendly. A little bit more crypto tolerant, but not that many crypto friendly. And I just wondering why. It's just because they're not interested in it, or it's just a lot of problem from the regulatory perspective.
I think it's two reasons. I think there are not enough people in the market, so bankers that understand crypto.
Okay.
To make it in banking, comfort is very important because of compliance, because of the of client-related issues. And I don't think there are a lot of bankers in the market that can make crypto comfortable for their institution. to the degree that, the boards, the in some cases, the direct shareholders would be comfortable enough working with it. Because it's all about understanding, having a very deep understanding and knowing what you're doing. Because crypto is here to stay. And I think, a lot of institutions have gotten it right, but there are not enough teams to go around to do that. And I also think that in many cases, there's not enough contact between institutions themselves to share that knowledge. Because innovation happens, I guess, in a teamwork environment. It's about connecting and doing things together, which makes sense, on a team building level, but doesn't often make sense commercially, obviously. So I think those are the two kind of roadblocks that are.
And you mentioned institutions, you mentioned investors. Are there kind of sentiments that crypto is somehow connected to dark, that crypto is kind of risky and we don't want to touch it? We better live, as you said, banks are okay in general. They just don't need it and don't want this additional risk exposure.
I would not call crypto dark. I think there's a lot more dark cash than there is dark crypto. Let's remember, I think when somebody says crypto is dark, they either don't understand, we spoke about this, you and I think at some point. Crypto is transparent, we know that. It's a lot harder to hide a crypto transaction than it is $100, $100 million in cash. So I think it's not dark. It's just industry sentiment at this point, because of several failures in the market that, again, happened, I think, because of crypto tolerance rather than crypto friendliness. But I think this will change very soon. It's already changing now. It's okay for some players to fall and others to form in their place. It's, we build better on experience. And it's absolutely fine. There will be other players, and it's great for the market. There's more than enough consumers out there. Competition is good.
Maybe one of the challenges is also liquidity, because some of the projects or like some of the cryptocurrencies, they don't have liquidity. Even Bitcoin right now is not as liquid on the exchanges as it was like 1 year ago. So maybe it's also a challenge for banks that tend to move way larger amounts of assets, like in the dollar value, than the general retail people. And also what I've been in kind of seeing with more of traditionally oriented people is that they don't see value in cryptocurrencies simply because they try to apply the traditional framework that an asset should generate cash flow, or if they look at the currency, US dollar, they say it has a value because United States is behind it. And when they look at the Bitcoin, they see it doesn't have any value. And I think a little bit of a shift in understanding will also happen when they see that the value of the cryptocurrency is actually all of those principles like transparency, that it's, especially in case of a Bitcoin, that it's decentralized and it's basically maintained by the miners, which are distributed across the world. So I think once all of those qualities, at least the people from the traditional space will start noticing, I think they will be more open to the idea of the cryptocurrencies in general.
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay. I think we had a great discussion today. I don't know, guys, do you have any last words to wrap it up? Anything? What you ate for lunch? What you're gonna do tomorrow?
I just want to thank you guys for a great AMA. It's been a great experience. Thank you for being so great with our customers. We hope to do the same for yours. Again, to reiterate what you've said, we will be offering free individual accounts to your clients. And it's an absolute pleasure. And we hope to, I hope to see you guys here again soon.
Yeah, thank you, Eli, for good insights, for fruitful conversation, and see you in person sometime somewhere in Dubai, I guess.